China, China, China. I think I've made it this long without ever bringing up the discussion my father and I had there with my mother in the room. And we were having a discussion which turned into an argument. And I was just like, you know what? I have to do this. And I said, I'm going back to China. And as soon as he said that, he says, China, China, China. He got so mad, and it was like, I gotta go. And every time I hear that poor guy yell, Russia, 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 it sounds like my dad, only in the attitude, just, ah. But the funny thing is, my father, he was a staunch Republican. All the time of me growing up, we were raised that way. And I can tell you this, he never once voted for that poor guy. Drove my brother insane. My father switched parties. Just never voted for him because he could see it a mile away. His other thing always used to be, the whole world's going crazy. And I'm like, it's not. I'd say to him, it's not. It's just different than what you had when you were growing up. And no, the whole world's going crazy. But no, and I look, and he died a couple of years ago. He got to see people climbing up the walls of the Capitol. The funny thing is, when he talked about that, he was like, looked like a bunch of monkeys. And it said, you can't say that. It sounded so racist, but when you look, they were all fucking white. So yeah, a bunch of fucking monkey knuckle fuckers climbing the building and saying it was peaceful. I mean, sure, rock climbing at what are they, Dog and Bucksters or whatever the hell it is, that's fun. That's peaceful. But you don't go do it at the Capitol building. He's just like, and you could say he was enlightened. You could say he was enlightened, but I think you would be confused. There's a little bit missing from that. He was enlightened on the joke. My father was always screwing with people. And that's the enlightenment. Time to change the joke so he could screw with my uncle, his brother, that would say terrible things about President Obama when he was in office. And my dad would say, well, look what your daughter married. He could just fucking attack these people that were just so ugly and vicious and just make them go, and fucking back out of the yard and squeal the tires. Who's paying for those tires? The rage of my uncle pays for those tires because he's attacking something that is in his life. What does that say? Maybe you could use a little bit of a talking to from somebody that can help you ease your disdain for your memory and your history. But they say, China, China, China. This is the point. This is what I was getting to. First time I ever came back from China, I walked the streets in San Jose and then the bus stations in San Francisco, and everybody's just like, just the rage. It's the only time I've ever experienced culture shock in my life, was coming back to my own homeland where people were mean and aggressive, and I came from a place that was friendly and nice, And you wonder how you could get to that? Well, I'm going to tell you. All the people, all the megalomaniacs that attacked China, well, those people there are pretty friendly. You can't attack them if you're going to follow their way. They're nice. It's a shock to see somebody talk poorly towards another person when you're in the company of strangers, however that works. All you megalomaniacs out there who despise China, all you need to realize is that what you're doing is the blueprint of China. Everything. I've got this Saddam Hussein book I started reading a few years ago. Couple. It's got all the tyranny in there, tyranny, how to do it. I've got Behold the Pale Horse over here somewhere. It's like how they're going to do it, and it tells you exactly what's happening. It's not like they're being people with predilections. They're not soothsayers. They're just writing this shit down. Even Nietzsche wrote shit down about how people are. He didn't say it's how they should be, but somebody picked it up and said, well, if that's how they are, I can make it my own. So Hitler's sister gave him all his fucking notes to Hitler, and he used shit that was just not right. Just saw a thing about Wagner yesterday in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, of course. He was a goddamn anti-Semite. Part of all this. Anyway. Settle down a little bit. All I'm saying is I see how this is working. And I'm coming back to the idea. You megalomaniacs that despise China, this is what you get. Because back in the Cultural Revolution, how many of you had the East Asian Modern History class? I did. And Chairman Mao he fucking took all the smart people out of the colleges and put them out on farms somewhere where they'd never farmed. They're smart. Any of them that survived, it's only because they're smart. He dumped them off and they took their shit. And these people were eating like bark and shit like that, trying to survive. They got rid of any sign of an intellectual civilization by flushing the intellects. And now, as I said, everybody seemed nice, but I mentioned a couple of things a couple of times and they got really quiet and said, ooh, we do not talk about that. And it's like, yeah, they're still watching, aren't they? That's why you don't know me from Smoking Ghost, is because People's Republic of China, the people in charge in the town we were in, shut down the band. So I'm sorry. Yeah, you fucking little whore! See, we had a song. It was going to be a #1 hit. All of you that want to hate China, you should pay attention to the path we're on, because we're about to become China. Sit quietly, we seem happy enough, but there's somebody overlooking us. That's the thing. China's never been afraid to show everybody the people they make disappear. In this country, we've had something going on for years that we can just make people disappear, and we'll never accept it. We never have to admit to it. But we're reaching a point now. They're going to start taking your daughters, your nephews, your parents, your Archies, and they'll make us all disappear, and they'll make a big show out of it. Won't that be fun? 2025, if that's what you choose. Welcome to China. He didn't even come up with his own plan. He just stole that from someone that's going to go bankrupt too. And look how far we will be behind when we get it all right.